You read the title right. We're going to be discussing the 2016 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations. The nominees that may be inducted into the Hall as of next year. I know this usually breeds a lot of controversy. This breeds a lot of talk about, oh, they favor this or that or whatever, but this is a list that is pretty controversy-free for the most part. So what I want you to do is to keep this in mind as we're going through, and also stick to the end of this video, because I want to do something a little bit different and a little bit more geared toward what we typically talk about on this channel. And we do this in a way, we do honor some of these bands every single March in Music Madness, but I want to do something that's a little bit more concise, something that's a little bit more fun. So let's first speak about the 2016 nominees to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We have The Cars, we have Chic, we have Chicago, Cheap Trick, Deep Purple, Janet Jackson, the JBs, which is James Brown's band. Okay, in case you don't know the name, that is James Brown's band. Chaka Khan, Los Lobos, Steve Miller, of course with the Steve Miller Band, known for songs such as Fly Like an Eagle, or The Joker, Fly Like an Eagle, was famously covered by Seal in the 1990s. 9 Inch Nails, NWA, The Smiths, The Spinners, and Yes. To run down that list again, we have The Cars, Chic, Chicago, Cheap Trick, Deep Purple, Janet Jackson, the JBs, Chaka Khan, Los Lobos, Steve Miller, 9 Inch Nails, NWA, The Smiths, The Spinners, and Yes. So really, this is one that's not controversy-free 100%, considering the newest band that is on here, I believe, is 9 Inch Nails, and the oldest is really a toss-up between groups such as Steve Miller, or we're even looking at Chicago. I did not do the research on that, but there are a couple of groups that are deserving from the late 60s, early 70s, with a lot of some of their prominent work being done in the 1970s. If I were to pick 6 bands from this list to really be a part of this, and I think I'm going to just have to jump around with this, I'm going to have to go with Yes, I'm going to have to go with Chicago, Cheap Trick, Deep Purple, NWA, wow, the last one is the killer. The last one is hardcore, because it's between 3 bands, and I'm just going to go with the Smiths. I'm just going to go with the Smiths as number 6. You may have a dispute, you may have a disagreement on that. Janet Jackson, to me, is one that just doesn't quite have the chops yet. Although in the pop department she does have importance, though she definitely has more of a famous name, and of course the famous wardrobe malfunction incident. Chic has been nominated now, I think, like 9 or 10 times. I don't know if they're ever going to get in. I don't know if they are really a band that has enough, even though they are just, they are a great disco band from the 1970s. They had some great funk, great groove to what they did. Chaka Khan is probably one that you can expect to get in. Chaka Khan is widely considered to be very influential, so don't be surprised if she's able to oust somebody else. And looking, the Cars are kind of just like sort of on the outside looking in for now, but they're a band that's going to make it in. The Cars had huge hits and huge albums in the 1980s. It's almost a foregone conclusion that this band will eventually make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I want to know what you guys think about who has the best chance, and I feel like I'm being a little bit personal with that. I'm being a little bit, I'm playing favorites a little bit, especially with a band like Yes, but I feel that Yes is so important to the progressive rock movement, and they were just a really big band for its time, especially whenever they transitioned with Owner of a Lonely Heart and that whole album. And their career is just one that is, it's more important than I think most people give credit for. And of course, Deep Purple, the absolute 100% influence that this band has had, not only on hard rock but heavy metal music, is 100% the reason why, one of the reasons why, at least, that we are here today, where we are. So as I said, stick to the end. This is the end. The doors are already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that quote is for somebody who's already long been a part of this hallowed hall, supposedly. We need to concretely do, I I feel, on this channel, just to give it an extra piece of spunk, an extra piece of credibility. A heavy metal rock and roll Hall of Fame, which makes no sense. A heavy metal Hall of Fame. Heavy metal rock and roll Hall of Fame, good lord. Heavy metal Hall of Fame, the HMHOF, if you will, Humhoff, which is confusing to the brain. So, what I want from you in the comments below, aside from your 6 picks that you think is going to make it to the Hall of Fame in 2016, and you can use whatever criteria you want, which ones that you think that the Hall will end up picking. There is a fan vote, though. I'm going to leave a link in the description box for you to check that out and participate in the vote. Let's aim to get Deep Purple in, because, man, did they deserve it. 6 bands, heavy metal variety, 6 bands. Who do you think should be the first 6 inductees into the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame? If you had this choice, who would it be? And I think everyone's going to say Black Sabbath. I think that's going to be pretty well established, considering their position as far as heavy metal is concerned, considered to be the earliest, or one of the earliest ancestors of the genre of music. I think that Iron Maiden is a shoe-in pick. I think Metallica is. Judas Priest is probably another one. The last 2 are kind of toss-ups. I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Slayer. I think some people may lean toward a band such as Merciful Fate, or perhaps even Venom because of extreme metal. I'm interested to see your picks. 6 bands that you feel should be in the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame first class, and that would be for 2016. And what's going to happen here, what we're going to actually do, and actually, let's do something different. Let's make it 10 names, 10 bands. So 10, not 6 for the heavy metal. And what we'll do is I'll tally up the responses, and the top 6 will be the ones that make it in for the first round. We'll, of course, do something a little bit more formal with this as time goes on, but this is the initial stage, the very first class. So give me 10 bands that you think deserve to be in the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame. And, of course, I will tabulate, and we will do something special to enshrine the 6 winners that end up becoming the first 6 members of the Cover Killer Nation channel Heavy Metal Hall of Fame. So, you have 2 tasks. First of all, which 6 nominees are probably going to make it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2016? And second of all, 10 bands that you feel should be in the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame. I'm Cover Killer Nation. This should be really interesting. I'm looking forward to this. Get to responding.